So this is the first class. I believe all of you are graduate students. Undergraduates are not in this 500 level class. I've taught this course maybe around 8 times now. And every time I teach it, I change something. This time I'm going to basically, I used to teach it with MATLAB. I'm moving it to Python. So it will be a new experience for me. So my name is Pranav Bunsul. I'm an assistant professor in mechanical industrial engineering. And I basically work in robotics. So this is my niche area. Coming back to the course, if you look at the syllabus, which is on Blackboard, I've listed like a bunch of textbooks. You don't need to buy any of them. I often get asked what book I should refer. So I just have some books, but you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to read any of these books. There's too many things here. So I'm just going to try to give you notes which you need for doing well in this course. So it's up to you if you want to buy them. We'll use Blackboard for almost everything. If you're new to UIC, you should remember that link, uic.blackboard.com. And by the way, I'll be giving you all these slides. Okay, so you don't have to, yeah, this is robotics, ME510. ME510, yeah. Is there space? There's space there. Or you can bring a chair in front. There's a couple of chairs there. So you should remember that link. In fact, all your courses will be using Blackboard, I believe. So it has everything, syllabus, announcements. If you log into Blackboard, if you go to robotic manuals, you can go on the left side and then pick up whatever you want. So lecture, homework, syllabus, grade scope, everything is there. Now grade scope, I'll come back to that, what grade scope is. In just a bit. So there's no the syllabus, I think, says some prereqs, but I think that if you know linear algebra and ODEs, ordinary differential equations should be fine. And I don't think anybody here does not know these things, but I just put them there. It's good to know some programming language, just sort of to think of how to write a program, but I'm not mandating that you should know it. I understand that some of you have done that in the past and have forgotten how to program. That's okay. We'll teach you from scratch. This course will use Python. And I use Python because, well, I've used MATLAB the last 7 times I taught it. This time I switched to Python, and I think that Python is free. MATLAB is not. And I think you can actually, if you're not interested in robotics, I think a skill you can take beyond this course is Python. It's using Python for your for whatever you want to do in your career or other classes. We meet 2 to 3:15. This is the room. I found it thanks to Jim. If you don't want to come to class, that's okay. You can view the class. I think there are 4 people who are on, well, 3 people who are on Zoom. You can bookmark that or save that link, tiny.cc /robotics Zoom. It's also on the syllabus. The syllabus is right there on the left side, syllabus. You can find it there. All the links are there. Okay, so this is like the most important slide, right? How will you be graded? I think that sets up everything. I decided to get rid of exams in the course. And really, this is really, it's for you to learn something about robotics and instead of making you stressed about exams. So the bulk of your grade is the homework. And you'll see that I'll be assigning homework pretty much every week. And so I don't want to put a burden of another exam on that. So there'll be homework. You'll see that roughly there'll be 2 parts to it. There'll be something which does theory questions, Python questions, but then there'll be a question on MuJoCo, and I'll tell you what MuJoCo is in a bit. It's a simulator, which is again be based in Python. And then there'll be a project which is 30% of your credit, and then I might have some bonus extra credit. Okay, so given the grading, this is how the course will flow. Monday, Wednesday, we talk about theory and Python code. So I'll be giving you a lot of code, and then you'll be able to modify the code to solve the homeworks. But then offline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record MuJoCo videos. I've already recorded a couple of them, and you will basically view those videos and do the homework. So it's basically, I'm using the class time to teach you theory, where you might have questions and you want to understand the inner workings of a system, a robotic system. But then offline, you do MuJoCo, where you sort of apply what we did in class towards those things. There'll be weekly homework, and they'll be on both, as I said. And then for project, we'll go with a project in weeks 10 to 16, which is approximately 2/3 down the line in the course. Okay, so as I said, I'm trying to make this as cheap as possible by having free softwares. Python is free, MuJoCo is free. You can use any IDE, which is integrated development environment, to write code. Don't try it in Notepad or WordPad. You can do that, but it's really cumbersome to do that. Especially in Python, where tabs are, you need to have tabs and you need to have certain way in which you write, otherwise it will just give you error. So I recommend Atom, but you're free to download other IDEs. Just search for Python IDEs. My instructions are for Atom, but I'm sure you can figure out how to use other IDEs. Okay, so what about the homework? So as I said, 70% of your course credit, I would allow people to work in groups. I would say don't go more than 2, because what happens the moment there are more than 2, one person starts not doing anything, and then just other people do the work, and then the other 2 people are annoyed, and the third person, and then there's all sorts of problems. So try to work in maximum groups of 2. Individual is absolutely fine. The homeworks are due on Sunday, end of the day. We'll be using gradescope.com for all these submissions. Now, Gradescope is again free. The university has a license to Gradescope. So where can you find Gradescope? I think you can go to gradescope.com, but I would say the better way of figuring out Gradescope is through that last. Okay, so go to Blackboard and then click on Gradescope, and you'll be taken to the right place. Don't go to gradescope.com. I think sometimes it's harder to get to the course that way. Okay, so essentially you'll be submitting code, plots, and so on. Now, some sections of the homeworks might involve making animations, in which case you just send it to me, or either by sending it to me via mail as a MPEG or AVI, whatever you like, or you could just upload it on YouTube or some other online media link, and then you can send me the link. That's fine too. The project is 30% of your credit. I would say again, we stick to groups of 2. We start week 10 onwards. So part of it will be figuring out what project you want to do and then working on it. And it's not like, I would say the project is it's approximately like 3 homeworks. So if you're not spending like a semester, you're not spending crazy hours doing it. I would say if you spend around 50 hours, that should be good enough. That can make the cut for a project. So, and that will include everything, like figuring out what project you'll do, working on the project, and then documenting the work. I might not have you write in the report. It might just be sending me the code or presenting it. I've not decided that, but I'll let you know exactly what's the breakdown for the project. It'll be a while before I get there. Make it due the last day of class. It's fine if you want to send it to me later. We can talk about that later. The absolute deadline for me is the day I have to submit the grades, and I think there's like some day in December, I forget the date, but I have to have your project by that time to give you a grade. And then it should be emailed, and then if you do it in groups, ensure that both members work equally. I think it's very convenient to have office hours via Zoom. If you want to meet me in person, that's fine. We can meet. Just send me an email. I'm trying to. Usually, it's hard for me to find a time which works for students because it depends on how many people ask me questions, so on. So what I'll do is I'll stick with 11 to 12 for the beginning of the semester, and then if I find that people are saying it's not convenient, I'll change my office hours to something else. Since the homework is due on Sunday, usually people start doing homework towards the end of the week. So I think Thursday, Friday will be better than something earlier in the week. You can email me. That's my email. I'll try to be quick while responding, but if I'm not, just give me 24 hours to respond. Okay, so this is, how many of you seen this course description? This is on the, if you go ME510 UIC, you see this description. Did you sign up based on this description who you saw, or you just thought robotics is exciting, that's why you signed up? You saw this description and signed up? Okay, so if you look at this description, you liked it, and you signed up for this, I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not going to teach anything which is in that description. This is because of the following reason. This course was in the catalog in 1992, I think, or 93, which is like 30 years back. I don't know, some of you may not have been born by then. And since then, I think for last 30 years, nobody taught it, or it was taught maybe in the early 90s, but never taught. But this is a really outdated stuff. And then to fix that syllabus, it is like a painful process. So I'm not going to fix that syllabus, but I'm just going to teach what I think is important for you to learn in robotics, which will be these topics. So there'll be manipulators. Of course, I'm not ruling out manipulators, but I think it's more important for you to sort of understand how systems work. And so it will be these few things. And then, I would add more things depending on if you have time or not.